What's up, Samurai? We are back in more, and today we are going to be starting a series that will probably take me far too long to finish, which is going to end up being the Leviathan series. So one of you ended up suggesting this a couple weeks back during a live stream. Hey, why don't you end up making videos of having every single one of the classes fight a U10 Leviathan? And I thought, hey, you know what? That's actually a great idea. It'll be a good showcase for you guys. Because in the 45K series, we ended up showing off classes against, normal speed farming, and then them in the delves, with me giving my opinion and feedback of how that class would end up handling a Leviathan. But you guys want to see a real world example, okay? It's the same as how everybody keeps asking me what's underneath my character's helmet, which I will show you. Subscribe to Sayushi. Good Lord. That does mean that I gotta get my proper banner on and get all my equipment all set up, and not to mention my ally. Lots of you have been wondering why I'm using Kennick, and I mean, it's literally an ally that is just tied to the new Delves Shadow Tower area, right? Because otherwise normally we use Scorpius, the strong Scorpius. I don't even know what his subname would be. I figured this would also be a good example or a good time to bring up subclasses, because a lot of you have been asking me about subclasses lately. Lunar Lancer is still one of the best. I would probably recommend using the Solarian one as the main subclass, just because of that extra light value. That's quite a significant amount of damage. I've been using the Bard Song because apparently they buffed it. When they ended up doing the buffs to all of the subclass abilities and stuff like that, a lot of them ended up changing in very significant ways. And the Bard Song normally would cycle through 1, 2, 3, all different songs one after another. But now apparently it just gives you the buff of all of them. So we get a pretty decent amount of extra crit damage, but more specifically, we get the damage boost aura and the speed boost aura. That's why I've been using it. Otherwise, my go-to option is always going to end up being Mounted Cavalry, just because the extra potions allows me to deal damage for a longer period of time. But we'll still try it with Solarian as the subclass ability anyway. So I just wanted to show you guys right here. We are going into U10, not U11. I've made that mistake many times. I should also bring up the fact that the U11 geode surface, there's not really any point in fighting a Leviathan in U11, because all he's going to do is just be a much stronger variant of any of the previous Uber worlds. So he could be a Leviathan from U8, U9, or U10, but he's going to be a beefcake U11 version. So we've got this Leviathan over here. Fingers crossed these other players don't end up getting over here and trying to, go through it. I have fought U10 Leviathans before, many times. There was a point where I was soloing them and kind of carrying you guys, just because I was trying to get myself the enshrouded, the perfect permatorch. But I've already got that now. So let me just get things a little bit set up here, and then we're ready to rock. So I want you guys to be very, very clear, and I want to be transparent here. I'm not doing like the super most optimal, Leviathan. We're basically just going to kill it, just super duper basic. The point of these videos is to show you guys a casual approach, because despite the fact that I'm like super end game and I've been playing this game for many, many years, I still consider myself to be a casual player. I never really get involved with like the super meta builds and stuff like that, because it doesn't really make as much of a difference as people imply that it does. And I'm not trying to take credit away from the people that do end up subscribing to the whole meta thing. It's just, I don't know. My point is, if I can do it, you can do it, right? So just skimming over my gyms very, very quickly, we've got them all pretty much set up and perfect. It's basically the exact same gems that, I don't have Explosive Epilogue. Interesting. They're the exact same gems that I have, in my other 45K videos and stuff like that. So hopefully we got the damage that I can get away with, not using constant pots here. I do gotta stay away from him, just because of the fact that if I get too close to him, he's got a move that'll one-shot me through Death Defying. But I'm gonna try and tag him with my ult. And I am trying to go through my flask. I shouldn't have used Death Defying, come to think of it. I should have been using Elysium. And it looks like there's another Shadow Hunter here kind of ruining this, unfortunately. So that's a scrub. Dude, I actually just took damage from the Leviathan up here. Like, I'm through the floor. I didn't know that his attack had no vertical ceiling. Like, okay. Also, looking at this other Shadow Hunter, his damage is pretty meek. No offense to the random dude here, but I'm just saying, like, clearly I'm all the damage. So I guess we can just count this. I know it's not ideal. Oh, he died anyways, so there you go. I'm probably not going to be able to do this just because he did drain a lot of my flask, this stupid Leviathan. And again, you know, not being 100% ideal, I'm not going to be able to use, well, maybe we'll be okay. The funny thing is, watch this. I'll pop a flask and then I use my Seekers. Watch how much damage they do. When they connect with him, that did a huge chunk of damage. Like, man alive. Anyways, that's going to end up being the Shadow Hunter fighting this guy. Do I have a key? Do we get secretly really, really lucky right now and we get a Enshadowed Torch? Do I even have a key? Let me craft another one. There we go, Leviathan key. I don't think I have any of these, come to think of it, because I've been like getting rid of most of them because I don't farm Leviathans that much anymore. Okay, he's 38k, so it's not like he's super bad. But thankfully, he wasn't dealing enough damage that we could still count it, because otherwise I was going to have to go and fight another one. Fragile Tendril Torch, whatever. Anyways, that's going to do it for me, ladies and gentlemen. That is a 47k PR Shadow Hunter. You can see when I've got all of my gear set up, we're pretty close to maximum PR. I think PR goes a little bit higher, you know, based on mastery and stuff like that, which a quick reminder, just for those wondering, this is where my mastery is at. It's not 100% ideal. I'm still missing quite a few things. You know, years ago, I unsubscribed from trying to be top mastery just because in order to get top mastery, they ended up having like more and more ridiculous things that would take like, oh, this would take 5 hours. Oh, this would take 10 hours. This would take 16 hours to grind. And I'm just like, no. Most of all because I balanced out the amount of time investment and the amount of fun that I have. And in most cases, it's just not fun. But anyways, that's going to do it for today. I did want to end up diving into a little bit more you know, specific topics today, you know, in the other videos that we end up doing in this series, which is going to be very slow and drawn out, by the way, because I kind of got to just feel like doing it. You know, I'll try my best to maybe have one of these, you know, videos in this series per week, but no promises on that, just because we never know what's going to happen with this game. You know, we still have the big update coming, and if it does end up coming out anytime soon, it's going to completely derail anything that I'm doing with this game. But, you know, I hope that this was a good example for you guys. I know that we ended up making a little bit cuts during the middle of the fight. Again, when I was saying I wouldn't use Death Defying, I meant that if anything, I would use the Elysian Bandolier, because I would have so much more flask capacity that I could spam my flasks. And then for, you know, my emblems, I decided on the Beamer emblem just because I thought, well, it's extra damage. I mean, you know, most people would end up using the chromatic because they would want to try and use their ult multiple times. But, you know, again, I'm not trying to necessarily fight the bosses at ideal perfection. It's most of all about just showing you guys, yes, we can do it, and yes, we can do it quite easily. What do you have to say about that, Mr. Stupid Weird Shadow Hunter? Have you subscribed yet? Oh, good lord. Let's just put the helmet on and never see him again.